From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Thursday, January 21st, right now on Good Morning Indiana.
All these smaller things that seem very little are going to make a large impact.
President Biden is starting his term by signing several executive actions. Working for you, we're breaking down the changes and the impact they have on Hoosier families.
Help is on the way for small businesses still struggling to make ends meet. This morning, how Hoosier business owners can sign up for assistance.
The pandemic continues to have an impact on personal finances. Our Kelsey Anderson gets advice from a financial expert on how you can turn things around in the new year.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for Good Morning Indiana. You can see we're in yellow today, bringing the sunshine with us on this Friday Eve.
That is right, Raphael, looking good down there in Johnson County.
We are Todd's official weather watchers, and Todd, you promise sunshine, and I bet you will deliver.
Yeah, you know, I think it's pretty much a guarantee. Plenty of sunshine in the forecast today, Raphael, and take advantage of it because as we get into the weekend, the next storm system is going to approach. Not only will we have the sunshine today, but we're also going to have the warmest temperatures of the week. You're starting off your morning to temperatures that are hovering right around freezing in Lafayette, as well as Indy, a couple degrees above in Bloomington at 35 degrees. You factor in the wind, and it does feel like it's in the 20s, and that's the only real flaw in the forecast for the day today, as the wind is really going to be with us from start to finish throughout the day today, and it'll be gusting up to maybe about 20 miles per hour at times. Just a few clouds out there, otherwise clear skies. The sun will come up here as we get closer to 8 o'clock, and we will have plenty of sunshine throughout the day today, as that storm system to our south is going to make its way off towards the east coast. So enjoy today. We'll be in the 30s here this morning, but we should quickly be at about 41 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour, and then we'll see temperatures eventually, Lauren, top off right around 45 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look right now. Your Thursday morning drive up on the north side. Good morning to you here, traveling along I-465 in your Michigan Road. You can see some headlights picking up in that direction. Everything's traveling smoothly eastbound and westbound. Not monitoring any crashes here to slow you down.
Some of the executive actions I'm going to be signing today are going to help change the course of the COVID crisis. We're going to combat climate change in a way that we haven't done so far, and advance racial equity and support other underserved communities. We're going to rebuild our economy as well. And these are just all starting points.
The pomp and circumstance is over, and now it's time to get to work. President Joe Biden has taken his place in the Oval Office, and he is already addressing several key issues, Raphael.
And Megan, on his first day in office, the new president signed 15 executive orders and signed 2 agency actions. Here's a look at some of those major changes on this Thursday. President Biden launched a 100-day masking challenge, asking you and all Americans to wear a mask for the next 100 days, and is now requiring that masks be worn on all federal properties. He's also urging states and local governments to do the same. He extended the existing nationwide moratorium on evictions and foreclosures. Those now last until at least March the 31st. He also extended the existing pause on student loan payments and interest rates as well until at least September the 30th. The president also took actions to improve diversity and as well to address climate change. Lauren?
And Raphael, President Biden also took some actions on immigration policies. He announced plans to preserve Daca and to provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers. WRTV's own Troy Washington joins us live now with the impact that this could have on Hoosier families. Troy, good morning.
Good morning. Now, this policy could mark the dawn of a new day for those families just looking for a path to citizenship. A lot of those families have lived in constant fear of being deported. And recently, we talked to one of those families who told us that they were sitting on pins and needles just waiting to find out what the future holds for their family.
If he does, give some kind of path to citizenship or permanent or work authorization to begin with, or even licenses, like all of these smaller things that seem very little are going to make a large impact.
Just to give a little more information, this would be an 8-year path towards citizenship, and it would apply to those who have been in the U.S. since January of 2021. Reporting live downtown, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Joy, thank you. For the third day in a row, we've seen the amount of new COVID-19 cases fall below 3,000, which is a good sign. Here's a look at where we stand this morning. State health officials report 2,942 new cases of the virus. This month, 77,888 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. Health officials also report 62 new Hoosier deaths, meaning that this month so far, under 1,000 Hoosiers have died with the virus. As we continue to fight the virus, more and more Hoosiers, as you know, are getting vaccinated. So far, more than 338,000 Hoosiers have been given their first dose of the vaccine, and more than 79,000 Hoosiers are fully vaccinated against the virus. As a reminder, if you're 70 or older, if you're a healthcare professional or a first responder, you can sign up to receive the vaccine right now. All you need to do is visit the website ourshot.in.gov or simply call 211 for help. We have more information on that right now on the WRTV app. And across the country, to give you the big perspective, more than 16.5 million coronavirus vaccine doses have been administered so far. That's about 46% of the 36 million doses that have been distributed. Nearly 2.1 million people have received both of the required doses, and at least 14 million people have received at least one dose. President Biden, as you may know, named a COVID response coordinator who will now oversee the distribution of the vaccines and medical supplies to help speed up the vaccination efforts. Megan?
Raphael, the pandemic continues to take a financial toll on many Hoosier families. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us now with advice from financial experts on how you can get back on track.
For many of us, the pandemic had us digging deep into our pockets and into our piggy banks. But experts say you can make changes right now to get back on track in 2021. Well, whether you were laid off, furloughed, or even if you continued working at the height of the pandemic, we all learned the importance of having a savings built up for situations like this. Financial professional Logan Benham of Benham Advisory Group says the first thing you need to do to save is track your expenses. He says there's no way to save if you don't know where your money is going.
But once you've understood and identified those places of unnecessary spending, then we can go in and consider contributing to our savings accounts or our retirement plans if you can. But remember that savings is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So it's important that you set goals for yourself and make sure that those goals are realistic to you and in your situation.
Benham says those goals need to be realistic and attainable because it's going to be hard for you to achieve those goals if you feel overwhelmed when you look at your savings goals. And remember, saving money is a marathon, not a sprint, even if all it is right now is putting spare change in your piggy bank. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. A new round of Paycheck Protection loans are now available. Straight ahead, we've got everything you need to know to get help. Raphael?
If you prefer to skip the video part of Video Chats, Lauren, we have some good news this morning. Up next, how keeping those cameras off could help the environment. But of course, we all want to see Todd Clausen every single morning, and today he has a great forecast. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, Raphael, not only do we have the sunshine today, we have temperatures that'll be approaching 50 degrees in some areas. Enjoy today because you see that big drop off where tomorrow we go right back in to the heart of winter with temperatures that may not even make it to the freezing mark on Friday. Then a little warmer for the weekend. We'll break it all down for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. We're taking a live look right now at your commute over to our east. This is I-70, a view near Midhofer Road where traffic is traveling smoothly, both eastbound and westbound. No major slowdowns to report on your roads this Thursday morning. Megan?
Thank you. A lifeline for many small businesses across the country was the first round of the Paycheck Protection Program, also known as PPP, Raphael.
And as part of our Hiring Hoosiers initiative, which connects you to jobs every single day, our Amanda Starantino looked into the latest round of those PPP loans and what it means for Hoosier businesses.
Hotel Tango made a successful pivot when the pandemic began almost 1 year ago. Still, they're grateful for the chance to sign up for a second round of assistance from the Paycheck Protection Program.
We started making hand sanitizer. Originally, we just did it to donate to local first responders, hospitals, police, firefighters. And we found that there was kind of a niche in the market that there was a shortage of hand sanitizer, so we started producing it at larger quantities.
It was help from a Small Business Administration PPP loan that let Hotel Tango keep paying their staff.
So as the original wave of the pandemic hit and the Paycheck Protection Program came out, we applied for that at the beginning of April. As we shifted over some of our employees who were working at our tasting rooms into hand sanitizer production.
Businesses that received a loan during the first round can once again apply for a second round of support.
So there were some bumps along the road. We've had time to smooth those bumps out. We've had the lenders on board. This will be the second round for the lenders. So I think we're going to see a smoother process.
This time around, there are some different qualifications for businesses to be eligible to apply. No more than 300 employees and at least a 25% reduction in gross receipts from quarter to quarter in 2019 and 2020. The first round was capped at 500 employees and a 20% reduction. Another deviation.
The maximum loan amount is now capped at $2 million. Last time it was $10 million. It's calculated by 2.5 times your monthly payroll. And if you're in the accommodation or food service business, it's actually 3.5 times your monthly payroll.
However, similar to the first round, borrowers have to use 60% of the loan on payroll in order for the loan to be fully forgiven.
You definitely want to apply if you've already asked for forgiveness, but you're still waiting on to hear about the forgiveness. So if you met the eligible covered expenses the first time, go ahead and apply, and the lender will work with you on the disbursement.
Hotel Tango has found success at a tumultuous business year, opening a new location in Zionsville this January. The distillery CFO credits a good relationship with the SBA and their resources available in order to navigate the pandemic.
I think it's super important as a smaller company, to work through the SBA. A lot of people look at the SBA as just a lending function, but they do have some other resources. They help provide hiring help, training help, and kind of on the back end, I think they're an advocate for small businesses, and they work with the federal government to reduce administrative burdens that come along with operating a business.
That was Amanda Starantino, and Amanda will see you tonight on the news at 5. Again, if you have until March the 31st to apply for the second round of PPP. You could also still apply for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, also known as EIDL. That has been now extended until December 31st of this year, so you have some time for that EIDL loan. The Small Business Administration also offers free resources, mentoring services, and educational programs. You can find all of that information right at your fingertips at WRTV.com, as well as the WRTV app. Time now to check your forecast. At any time that Todd Clausen can say the word 40 in January, he deserves an extra few Benjamins in his paycheck.
Oh, I can't wait. When's payday? Not tomorrow. Next Friday. Raphael. I'll be make sure I look at that statement and make sure they're there. All right, outside. Right now we are talking about temperatures in the 30s, but we're getting into the 40s, as Raphael alluded to. It's going to be the warmest day of this week, and I could probably change that because I think it's going to be the warmest day of next week as well. So really take advantage of today. There will be some gusty winds at times, which I know doesn't make it an absolutely perfect day, but anytime you're in the 40s, and for some of you maybe even to the 50s this afternoon, we're in good shape, but it's just a one-day deal. Colder weather is set to return for the weekend. Outside right now, it's pretty quiet all across the area. Temperatures are currently sitting in the 30s in all locations. 36 in Muncie, 33 in Indy, it's 35 in Bloomington, 33 is the current temperature in Lafayette. You can take a couple degrees off the temperature with the wind that's out there right now, and it feels like it's in the 20s right now in all locations, but nonetheless, we're in pretty good shape here for the day today. Once the sun comes up, notice how the temperatures start to climb, already up to 41 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour, and then the temperatures will continue to climb from that point forward throughout the day. Just a few high things thin clouds outside right now, and that is just about it. It's pretty quiet off to our west. No storm systems heading our way until probably as we work our way into Sunday night and Monday. That's the next chance of any precipitation. But look at these highs today. 43 in Frankfort, 42 in Logansport, Anderson at 43 degrees, Shelbyville 47, 49 in Martinsville, temperatures in the mid 40s in the metro area as well. And here's where we have the best opportunity to pick up temperatures today, right around 50 degrees in Columbus. And Spencer, you throw in the sunshine, and it should be fairly pleasant out there despite, again, the potential for those gusty winds at times throughout the day today. This evening, if you have plans, Thursday night, temperatures will be hovering in the upper 30s for the most part once the sun sets, but the skies will be mainly clear. And then once we get to tomorrow, it is going to be completely different. Once our temperatures drop down into the 20s to start tomorrow morning, they virtually don't move throughout the entire day. Unfortunately, even with sunshine around, highs tomorrow are going to struggle to get back to 30 degrees. So we go from near 50 in some locations today to temperatures tomorrow, maybe not even getting to the freezing mark. So just kind of prepare yourself for that little shock as we go into the day tomorrow. Extending out into your weekend, Saturday's cooler than Sunday, but it's dry with sunshine. So it may end up being the better day of the weekend. As we work our way into Sunday, we'll look for some rain and snow showers to develop throughout the afternoon and eventually into the evening hours. And then Monday morning's commute is something we have to keep an eye on for you. It could be a little slick in spots and tricky depending on the exact track of the storm and the temperatures. We may fall just below freezing Monday morning down to 30 degrees, which would obviously create some slippery conditions. We eventually get back up to 40 by Monday afternoon, which would change anything over to rain, but still some time to fine tune that forecast. But it's definitely not going to be a big snowmaker for us. It's more rain than anything. It's just that little window overnight with the cooler temperatures, Lauren, that we could run into some slick spots across the area.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at your commute this Thursday morning. Here's a look right now on the southwest side, I-465, a little west of State Road 37, the Harding Street exit. You can see lots of cars moving across your screen. It is picking up there, traffic getting heavier, but all lanes remain open and they're moving, so that is good news this morning, Megan.
Lauren, thank you. A simple and inexpensive test can help alert you to an increased risk of developing colorectal cancer. Researchers at the University of Exeter gave the test to nearly 4,000 participants with low-risk symptoms of colorectal cancer. The test costs only $6. It detects traces of blood in stool samples. Blood was detected in 618 participants. 43 of those tests turned into a positive cancer diagnosis within a year. Researchers say the test gives more people access to screening that could lead to early detection. The American Cancer Society says colorectal cancer is the third leading cause of cancer deaths in the U.S. Lauren?
It is 6:20, and this morning early research is showing mixed results for how the current COVID-19 vaccines protect against the virus mutations. Scientists put blood samples from 20 people who received either the Moderna or Pfizer shot in a petri dish with coronavirus mutations. In some cases, the antibodies had no problem fighting off a mutation, but in others, they had a harder time. Researchers say so far the vaccines provide enough protection against the current mutations, but there may be concern for future variants. More research is still needed. Raphael?
So, Lauren, with more of us working from home and more of us either Zooming or FaceTiming during the meetings, often we're on video a whole lot. But if you're a fan of leaving the camera off during those video chats, here's another reason to do so. Researchers say that you can actually save the environment by turning this video off. A scientist from Purdue, MIT, and Yale found that using video chats increases a person's carbon footprint. That means an hour of streaming can produce 150 to 1,000 grams of carbon dioxide and require up to 12 liters of water. Didn't know that. So by turning off your video chat, you can reduce your footprint by 96%. Streaming in standard definition rather than high definition, get this, reduces the carbon footprint by 86%. Keep that in mind the next time you have to Zoom or FaceTime. This morning, as we head outside, a big good morning to Broad Ripple, Bloomington, and Brownsburg, all great places to call home right here in central Indiana. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. Time now is 6:24. It's one of my favorite parts of the morning, you guys, where we talk about what's trending at 6. So we'll start off with this. There were a lot of stylish moments during the inauguration, but the most surprisingly, the popularity of Senator Bernie Sanders and his clutch mittens. Sanders mittens caught the eye of social media users, and the memes immediately started coming. There is actually a meaningful story, though, behind the mittens, you guys. Vermont teacher Jen Ellis gave them to Sanders more than 2 years ago, and he began wearing them on the campaign trail. The mittens are made from repurposed wool sweaters and lined with fleece made from recycled plastic bottles. So very eco-friendly, but also quite fashionable, I guess.
Those memes have been cracking me up.
Listen, if you're warm, right?
Right. What's in the envelope? I want to know that.
Yeah.
I guess they all have envelopes.
Well, I'll start investigating. How about that?
Yes.
Another of the day's most talked about moments when 22-year-old poet Amanda Gorman delivered her powerful speech. Take a listen.
We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Gorman is the first National Youth Poet Laureate. She had a speech impediment growing up and overcame her fear of performing. She was simply amazing yesterday. You can hear more about her story coming up at 7 right here when Robin Roberts sits down with her for an interview on Good Morning America.
Very cool. Well, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of her in the years to come. So take a look at this. A new sneaker pays tribute to a piece of Indianapolis history. These Christmas Attic shoes are part of a new Converse collection called Breaking Down Barriers. They're inspired by and honor the 1954-1955 Christmas Attics high school basketball team. Led by a young Oscar Robertson, they were the first all-black team to win a state basketball title here in Indiana. The shoes will be released nationwide in the spring. Spring, Todd. That sounds lovely right now.
Hey, it'll be here before you know it. It's hard, we're January 21st now. We're almost
Getting
through the month of
closer.
January. And as I said yesterday, obviously February is a short month, and then we're into March. And you never know what kind of weather you can get in March as far as temperatures go. But nonetheless, we're pushing through winter here, and today's going to be an above normal day for us. We're in the 30s right now as you start off your day, but we should be up into the 40-degree range by the time we get to the noon hour. Skies will be mostly sunny throughout the day today. It is a little windy at times. Then as we transition into the afternoon hour, still very, very pleasant with high temperatures that'll be topping off right around 45, about 10 degrees above normal with sunshine. Can't beat that, Megan, for the middle to end of January.
Definitely can't. Thanks, Todd. And like Americans across the country, many Hoosiers are still waiting to receive their extended unemployment benefits. While the money should be flowing now, some have yet to see a dime. Our John Matarese has more what's behind the delays so you don't waste your money.
Where's our money? That's what hundreds of tri-staters, most of them in Ohio, are asking about their extended unemployment benefits. The money should be on the way, but many have yet to see a dime. We're now 3 weeks into the new year and have a new president. But for some unemployed, like single mom Ashley Mason, the 15 weeks of extended benefits Congress approved just before New Year's has not yet shown up.
I'm beyond frustrated, and I'm worried, if that I don't see this money soon, how am I going to pay for February's rent,
Amir Smith says his date keeps getting pushed back.
You should be paid on the 19th. Well, that's passed.
Why the delays? The new stimulus package does not simply extend last year's benefits. It requires states to recheck everyone's eligibility. That can take several weeks. The good news, Indiana is in better shape than many other states. But if you don't have your money, you may have to wait a couple more weeks. The good news is it'll be retroactive to January 1st, so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana, on this Thursday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. A man is dead after a workplace shooting on the east side of Indianapolis. The shooting happened last night at PSC Industries. That's near 32nd Street and Shadeland Avenue. Police say a man died at the scene. Investigators say the incident appeared to be isolated between two employees and the suspect ran from the scene.
In Marion County, a former social studies teacher in Speedway now faces felony criminal charges following an alleged incident involving a teenager. The Marion County prosecutor says 36-year-old Tyler Carmichael is charged with sexual battery and child seduction. Carmichael resigned from Speedway Junior High School after the teen's family told police about the alleged incident that occurred back in November.
Well, the Pacers were back at home after a West Coast road trip, and they were playing in front of fans for the first time this season. But the crowd of about 1,000 didn't help them against the Dallas Mavericks. Indiana rallied to take fourth quarter lead, but they couldn't hold on as the Mavericks win 124-112. The Pacers will host the Orlando Magic tomorrow night. So not the best news for the Indiana Pacers, Todd, but we do maybe have a little bit of good news on this Thursday for people who are thinking about the forecast.
Yeah, you know, I think there's a lot of good news in the forecast today. We have the sunshine. Temperatures are going to be above normal. One little issue is going to be the wind, but it's more of an inconvenience more than anything. It's not going to cause any damage as the wind's not going to be that strong. And it's not too bad here this morning, but it'll kind of kick up again this afternoon as the sun gets a little bit higher in the sky. Temperatures right now above freezing, just barely in Indianapolis at 33 in Lafayette, a couple degrees above freezing in Bloomington this morning at 35 degrees. Some wind gusts up still in that 21 mile per hour range. Some areas not reporting wind gusts over 20. That's the threshold that I have set up here when the numbers start to appear. But as we go forward in the day, I think there will be numerous locations starting to get into those wind gusts that'll be anywhere from about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Good news is not a lot in the way of cloud cover, just a few clouds to the north. It's a dry forecast for us for much of the day today, with the skies that are going to be mostly sunny. And with the mostly sunny skies, temperatures will be well above normal. Should be approaching 40 degrees already by the noon hour, with high temperatures this afternoon, Lauren, that are going to be topping off right around 45 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's get a check of traffic as you're heading out the door this Thursday morning. Here's a look up here along US 31 at 116th Street. Good morning to you in Carmel. Drivers here in Hamilton County shouldn't have any problem along the highway. Everything's moving along smoothly, both northbound and southbound. Well, the new vice president's legacy is already making history. Kamala Harris is the first woman to serve as VP. She's also the first black vice president and first of South Asian descent. Many Americans are celebrating having a vice president that looks like them. That includes the president of the Asian American Alliance, which is based in Carmel. But Rupal Tahalawana says that Harris's achievement means so much more than that.
Just that my hashtag is today is my VP looks like me. And I know that there are so many Shamlas like me who started the journey in this country with the hope that we are going to realize, American dreams. So I really don't want to make it just about a South Asian woman being in that position, but it's really about that this position is open to all, and how a person in that position can create opportunities for individuals who deserve it.
We also spoke with Girls Incorporated of Greater Indianapolis about what this moment means to them. For 50 years, the organization has encouraged young women in leadership. Taylor Connor is a Girls Inc. participant and a senior at Heron High School. She says Wednesday was monumental for her.
Personally, hearing all those things, it makes me happy that someone is breaking down these negative stereotypes and biases that come with the territory of being of color, of being a woman, of being an immigrant, who happens to also be very, very qualified for this position.
The Girls Inc. president says the inauguration also served as a day to remember all of the women who blazed a trail before the new VP. Raphael?
The new president has already started signing executive orders. Next, how one of those orders is already having an impact on Hoosier lives.
Would you like to smile more when you check your bank accounts? Coming up, some advice on how to make the money moves in the new year. That's right after the break.
And thanks for watching.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We're talking about how to prepare your finances for the new year. You may have had to say goodbye to 2020. It was a tough year for a lot of people, facing a lot of hardships, and a lot of those hardships impacted their money. And so Kelsey Anderson is joining us with how experts say you can make this a much better year financially.
For many people, when they're thinking about retiring, they have that date in mind and circled on their calendar. But with the struggles that 2020 brought, is retiring still a good idea? Financial professional Logan Benham of Benham Advisory Group says retiring is still an option if you have been planning for it and stuck to your financial plans. But if you haven't done that, Benham says now might not be the right time. He says if you are going to retire, something to consider is market uncertainty.
A good financial plan incorporates market uncertainty like we've seen during this COVID pandemic. And for example, if we were to only withdraw a fraction of our retirement accounts, then we might give the markets some time to possibly recover in the future.
For any worker who isn't ready to retire yet and is suffering financially because of the pandemic, there are a number of things you can do, and it might be a good time to organize those finances and figure out how much you will need when it's time to retire. Now, the best way to do that, Benjamin says, is to write down your monthly expenses. That way you can see where your money is going and where you might be spending too much. That way you can put that excess money into your retirement fund. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Now that a peaceful transfer of power has taken place, history has its eyes on the new administration. Next, we talk to two people teaching the next generation at UIndy on whether the movement will match the moment.
All morning long, we've heard from some groundbreaking women. Coming up, more pioneering women from yesteryear. It's Throwback Thursday and a look at how two women literally blazed a trail right here in the Circle City. But first, let's check your forecast on this Thursday with TK.
And Raphael, it's a little breezy out there this morning, and those winds will continue to pick up throughout the day, but the winds will be out of the southwest, but things will start to change overnight tonight. The winds will die down, but the wind direction changes as well. After a relatively mild day today, big changes for tomorrow. More on that coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
At Value City Furniture.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:41. Here's a live look at traffic for your Thursday morning commute at I-465 near Keystone Avenue up on the north side. You can see traffic there is traveling up to speed, both eastbound and westbound, picking up this morning, but no delays to slow down your commute. Raphael?
So, Lauren, President Biden getting right to work after taking his oath of office, signed a total of 17 executive orders covering a variety of issues, Megan.
That's right. One of those orders was aimed at strengthening the Daca program created by Biden's former boss. Our Troy Washington is live this morning with more from a young immigrant who has fewer worries thanks to the new president's action. Good morning, Troy.
Good morning. To start, that family is breathing a little easier because they don't have to worry as much about deportation. And they say that mainly they just want to get on that path towards citizenship. And this all wouldn't have been possible without the efforts of so many.
People before me are the ones to thank for all this change, because it's not just one person. It's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who go out and protest to make a difference and to try to change policies to better and to give equity and equality for many, communities and minorities.
The family says their hope is that this is a start towards major changes, and they explain that many mixed status families just want their families to stick together. Reporting live downtown, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you so much. Historians will have plenty to say when it comes to the year 2020. It's people, the pandemic, as you know, and of course, the politics. We zoomed with a historian and a political scientist at the University of Indianapolis to get their take at this moment in time. I suggest that democracy was tested over the past 2 weeks. So if there was a test, did we pass the test?
Yes, we did. But I would also say, theoretically, you see challenges or tests to democracy all the time. Every time we have an election, there's going to be strife in the country. After every election day, the coming weeks, people will be upset. Half of Americans are going to be upset because the candidate they wanted lost. It is not going to be the new leader. Every time we make it through one of those moments, one of those events, yes, democracy is tested, but we've come through it.
The country still remains divided. We are still in the middle of COVID-19. We have surpassed 400,000 deaths. So as you head back into the classroom and teach this moment in real time, what does that all look like?
It was just about 8 years ago, I think, that people
were trying to prematurely write an obituary for the Republican Party and saying there's no way they can win the presidency again based on the way that demographics are playing out. And they were wrong, right? So I think that's one of the things is beware of the quick snap judgments, because those tend to be premature and inaccurate.
Thank you to both you Indy professors who also share that this moment in time is really providing some real-time, real-life experiences for their students about the American experience. It is now time to check your forecast, and Todd Clausen, I cannot wait to leave the official WRTV living room studio and just enjoy the outdoors today.
I'm already planning out my walker run on the Monon later on here this afternoon, Raphael. And the Franklin Greenway, as you mentioned, is going to be busy. I'm sure the Beeline down in Bloomington is going to be busy, and all the other trails across central Indiana. Beautiful shot of our city here this morning. We're dry and really no weather concerns this morning. It's a little breezy, but not strong enough, the wind that is, to cause any damage. It's more of an inconvenience, just taking the actual temperature from 33 and making it feel like 23. So you definitely have to bundle up this morning if you're going to be out and about. And the winds will basically stay about the same throughout the entire day. The difference is by this afternoon, the temperatures will be a lot warmer. The sun will be out, so it's going to definitely be a little more comfortable later on today than it is this morning if you're starting to plan that workout out for you here for the day today. 35 in Bloomington right now, 31 in Tipton as well as Richmond. Here are two locations below freezing this morning, a degree above freezing in both Crawfordsville and Martinsville here this morning. As we work our way hour by hour throughout the day, the one thing that doesn't change is the sky cover. Clear skies this morning, lots of sunshine throughout the afternoon hours. Should be up to about 41 degrees by the noon hour, with your high temperature today getting up to 45. Our normal high has gone up a degree from yesterday. It's now 36, so that's good news. We'll continue that upward trajectory for our average high temperatures now all the way into the middle of summer. Just a few clouds out there this morning, and the overall weather pattern pretty quiet here in central Indiana for the next couple days. We just missed out on that storm system down to the south. Now overnight tonight, temperatures will drop down into the 20s across the area, which is seasonable for this time of year, just colder than what we have outside right now. The problem is tomorrow we just don't warm much at all, because we're going to flip the winds from the southwest like they are today to more of a northwesterly direction, and that's going to keep our temperatures most likely in most areas tomorrow below 30 degrees, below freezing. It's a chilly day, but at least it's dry with some sunshine. Heading into the weekend, Saturday, 30 degrees, partly sunny skies, 38 on Sunday. But we'll start to bring in the chance of a wintry mix on a Sunday. And we'll go over to TrueCast here. Sunday morning, we're still dry. This wintry mix comes in as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours. And it kind of comes at us in two waves. There's a wintry mix in the morning, and then we probably go over to some rain in the afternoon hours. And then as we work our way into Monday, it's mainly rain, but temperatures at the surface may be just below freezing. So there could be a little bit of freezing rain involved in this as we head into the Monday morning commute. That's something we'll keep an eye on for you. It's definitely not going to be a snowmaker for us, though, for all the snow lovers out there. It's more of a wintry mix, freezing rain and rain issue as we go into the weekend and then early next week. Once we get to Tuesday and Wednesday, Lauren, partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the low 30s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door, maybe heading to work this morning. Here you can see just on the north side of downtown, traffic is picking up. And I want you to look closely. You can see some flashing lights down there. This is near 16th and Capitol. And we warned you about this earlier this morning, but this will be an area where your morning commute could be impacted today until the rush hour is over. And that's because DPW is working on a project. There is a signal pole that is down in this intersection, and that required some welding to get it back working and fixed. So there's stop signs, there's flashing red signals in this area now at the intersection to make this an all-way stop until the operation can be complete. And they say this likely won't happen until after the morning rush hour. So keep that in mind if you're heading through that area. Just use caution, pay attention to any officers that are helping to direct traffic down there, and maybe give yourself an extra minute or two so it doesn't slow down your morning commute too much. Again, we'll continue to keep you updated. Overall, around other parts of downtown, everything's traveling up to speed.
On Good Morning Indiana, Thursdays are when we like to dive into the WRTV vault for Throwback Thursdays. And Lauren, we've already talked about trailblazing women on the show today, but 4 decades ago, 2 women blazed a trail of their own here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's true. And because of Valerie High and Nancy Sweeney, the all-male Indianapolis Fire Department was no more. WRTV was there as Valerie and Nancy both graduated from the department's recruit class 40 years ago this month. Former WRTV reporter Cy Jenkins found out that the hiring of the women extinguished one part of the daily life for their male co-workers.
When the women came, the firemen lost their TV room. It became the women's living quarters, separate from that of the men. Most of the men at Station 5 reserved comment on their rearranged working environment. They said, come back in 6 months. Valerie High said she'll be here then, and someday she'll be way up there.
All the way to the top.
Fire chief?
I'd like to go for fire chief. Yep. Be the first one fire chief. Why not?
Well, Valerie did not quite make it to chief, but she did retire in 2010 after 30 years with the rank of captain. Valerie passed away in 2014 at the age of 58. The woman who joined the department with her later became Nancy Rasmussen. She was named the fire department's Rookie of the Year in 1981 and later became the first woman in the city to be named a fire captain and a deputy chief. You can read more about these trailblazing women right here in Indianapolis. Just go to our website, WRTV.com/history. Raphael?
Lauren, from those women now to another trailblazing young woman. She's the youngest person ever to read the traditional presidential inaugural poem. It was a moment that really captured the attention of Americans with words that evoked tragedy as words that evoked triumph.
When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. And the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is.
Amanda Gorman, only 22 years old, the youngest poet ever at a presidential inauguration. Coming up today on Good Morning America, here right on WRTV, she sits down with Robin Roberts to talk about her historic moment in the spotlight and those words that really stirred our country. That's right after Good Morning Indiana, right here on WRTV. As the new administration gets in place, health officials are trying to speed up the distribution of the coronavirus vaccine. What the current vaccine picture looks like for us at this moment, plus your top stories next, right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. It's 6:54 on Good Morning Indiana. We'll check in with Todd Clausen to see whether today's sunshine will last until the weekend. His forecast is next right after your top stories this Thursday morning.
Let's get started. It was a dramatic rescue in the middle of an e-learning session. Listen to this. A 10-year-old student at St. Anthony Catholic Church School was in class at home when he realized his home was on fire. He showed his teacher using the camera on his device, and the teacher told him to make sure everyone was out and to call 911. Crews from the Wayne Township Fire Department on the west side of Indianapolis arrived at the home on Woodrow Avenue just before noon and had that fire under control in just minutes. Luckily, no injuries were reported.
Wow. Well, as we continue to fight this COVID-19 virus, more Hoosiers are getting vaccinated. So far, more than 338,000 Hoosiers have been given their first dose of the vaccine, and more than 79,000 Hoosiers are now fully vaccinated against the virus. A reminder, if you are 70 or older, a healthcare professional, or a first responder, you can sign up to receive your vaccine. All you need to do is visit ourshot.in.gov or call 211 to make an appointment. We have all that information up right now on the WRTV News app.
And for the 4th time in 4 seasons, the Colts need a new starting quarterback. After 17 years in the NFL, veteran QB Phillip Rivers announced his retirement. His decision comes less than 2 weeks after the Colts suffered a 27-24 loss at Buffalo in the wild card round of the playoffs. The 39-year-old spent 16 years with the Chargers before signing a 1-year contract with the Colts last year.
We wish him all the very best. In Washington this morning, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg is set to have his confirmation hearing. President Biden nominated his former presidential primary rival to be Transportation Secretary. He will be introduced at the hearing by Republican Senator Todd Young. If confirmed, Buttigieg will become the youngest and the first Senate-confirmed LGBTQ cabinet secretary in the nation's history. Before you head out the door, let's check in one more time with our Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's going to be a good day of weather for us here across the area. Lots of sunshine for everybody. It's going to be a little breezy for everybody as well, but high temperatures should be topping off in the mid-40s. In fact, places to the south, Bloomington, Bedford, Seymour, you'll have the potential today to get all the way up to 50 degrees. Take advantage of it because much colder tomorrow, a high of only 29 degrees. Still dry, though, with partly cloudy skies. And as we go out into the weekend, Saturday 30 and dry. Sunday we bring in a little bit of a wintry mix during the afternoon and evening hours. It's probably mainly rain Sunday afternoon with a high of 37. But as we cool off Sunday night into Monday, could go over to a little bit of a wintry mix and then back to all rain throughout the day on Monday as high temperatures eventually get up to right around 40 degrees.
Todd, thank you. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with the latest news, weather, and traffic updates.
And remember, all your news can be found throughout the day on the WRTV News app. Have a great Thursday.